started, I wanted to read a quote. It says, "True education, missionary training." This is Ministry of Healing, page 395, paragraph 1. It says, "True education is missionary training." Is that what we're doing? This is true education. Every son and daughter of God, are we sons and daughters of God? Amen. Every son and daughter of God is called to be a missionary. We are called to the service of God and our fellow men, and to fit us for this service should be the object of our education. So to fit us for this service should be the object of our education. So medical missionary training is true education. All right. Now, yesterday we talked about diabetes. Before I go on, let's cover a few things. What causes diabetes?
Fat in the body.
That's right. Fat on the body, diabetes causes. Fat in the body, and fat in the diet. Fat on the body. Now, does everyone who's fat have diabetes? Can skinny people have diabetes? Right, but this can really make it more than likely if people are eating, if they have fat on the body, that means they have what? Too much fat in the diet. Whether it's good fat or animal fat. Now, what did we learn was the #1 source of fat?
Animal products.
That's right, animal products. Fat on the body, fat in the diet. Now, once you have diabetes, what can worsen the sugar to go up?
More sugar.
Sugar. So sugar increases. What else?
Alcohol.
Alcohol increases. What about milk and sugar combined? Milk and sugar. And then Sister Mabel said yesterday vinegar. Did you know a violation of all the other laws of health outside of nutrition also cause your sugar to go up? They said there was a study, lack of sleep makes the sugar go up because of stress. When you don't have enough sleep, you have stress. Lack of sunshine makes the sugar go up. Lack of water makes the sugar go up because the water would dilute it. So all the laws of health are very important to follow. They will increase the diabetes situation. Now, do you remember what the levels are? What are considered the normal healthy levels?
65 to 99.
65 to 99. And do you remember what is considered? Do you remember what is considered pre-diabetic?
100 to 125.
Were you looking at your notes? I was going to say good. Okay, so this is normal levels. Okay, and this is pre-diabetic. And so, greater than 125 equals diabetic. Now, how many hours do they have you fast to see what your levels are? 8 hours. So if they tell you we want you to fast for 8 hours, should you eat anything? No, not one little bit of morsel should go into your mouth, because that can affect your blood sugar levels when you go get tested. Okay, so,
So fasting blood sugar?
yes, fasting blood sugar. Fasting, it's FBS. BSL equals blood sugar level. If you see me abbreviate, I'm sorry, that's my nursing blood sugar level. FBS equals fasting blood sugar. Now, if you were to check your blood sugar in the morning, right after you ate, are you going to get these levels? No, your levels are going to be high because you just ate, right? Right. Best time to check is in the morning when you haven't eaten since the night before. Alrighty, are there any questions so far? No questions. Okay, now, Remember the faucet that I left on accidentally in my bathroom at my house and you came to visit? And the sink is plugged and there's water all over the floor? What is the first thing we do? Turn off the faucet. And how do we do that? Remove the fat from the diet. Remove animal fat from diet. That would include all animal products, whether it be milk, butter, you name it, cream. And then decrease amount of plant fats. So, how much nuts did we say to have? 1/4. 1/4 to 1/3. 1/4 equals a handful. Now, is that handful supposed to be seeping out your sides? Morning, Brother Tony.
Morning.
Is that handful?
I'm not too early, am I?
Is that handful supposed to be seeping out your sides?
No.
No. It should be enough. So a bigger man is going to have more in his handful, right?
Yeah.
He needs more according to his body. Now let me ask you a question. How did God make nuts? No, but what is on the nuts?
Hard shell.
Hard shell. If we were to get the nuts the way they originally are and crack each one, we wouldn't need a lot of nuts. It's too much work. But when we buy them pre-cracked, it's easy to take whole handfuls, right? And like I was saying yesterday, people will bring bags of nuts to work and eat the whole bag in one day. That's too much fat, even though it's good fat. So 1/4 to 1/3 cup of nuts. How many seeds did we say?
2 tablespoons.
2 tablespoons of seed. Very good, Sister Letty. 2 seeds of of seeds. 2 tablespoons. Or 1 tablespoon of the nut butter. And that could be cashew butter, almond butter, sesame butter, peanut butter, any of those. Okay. Did you guys have any questions about what we covered yesterday? No questions?
I have a question.
Very important points.
Well, I'm not done.
Okay.
So when I'm done, if I've left off some points, we were cut off short, remember, yesterday? So I'm not done with this. We're just reviewing what we went over yesterday. Any other, yes?
So you said you want to do with the shelled nuts. That's the amount. Is it the nuts without the shell that we measured, or is it the shelled nuts that we measured?
Okay, the nuts without the shell is what you measure a 1/4 cup.
Okay.
If you measured in your hand shelled nuts, you'd only fit like 2 walnuts in there. And those walnuts are, when you crack the shell, they're about that big. It's not a lot. We're talking the shelled nuts. But what I was saying is if we bought the shelled nuts, that's about all we'd wind up eating anyways, is because cracking the shells takes a lot of work, right? Yes.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. 2 things I didn't talk about, I didn't cover, I noticed in my notes I was kind of rushing yesterday. When I was talking about the milk and the antibodies in the milk of a cow when it's in the baby and how it's causing, what did I say milk dairy's causing for babies?
Leukemia.
But besides the leukemia, yes, 84%. Diabetes type 1, type 1 diabetes. And 84% of the cows tested had leukemia. 50% had what? AIDS. Very good. You remember. He said he remembers a lot. Okay. Now, if you want to learn more about milk and people, you're trying to educate them about milk, there's an excellent website called notmilk.com. You guys heard of it? Wonderful website. That man, he puts a lot of Ellen White on there too, and what she wrote in her books. Not Milk. notmilk.com. Let me write it for those who are watching on the video. Notmilk.com. Every disease related to dairy is on this website. Excellent, excellent website. The other thing I forgot to mention Oh, I talked about it already, about how the nuts are packed. Okay, so the way we mop it or turn off the faucet is we get rid of the fat from the dye. And how do we mop it up? Or how do we unplug the sink?
Walk.
Exercise.
That's right. And what is the number one exercise? And where are we supposed to walk? Indoor or outdoor? Exercise should be outdoor. If you're in a gym and that's where your focal point of exercise is, you're not getting proper exercise. There was a study that came out 2 weeks ago. I said, man, medical science is confirming everything the prophet of the Lord said over 100 years ago. They're now saying because of the exhaled carbon dioxide that they're not recommending people be indoors as much exercising. They recommend that they do more outdoor exercise.
And is morning outdoor versus afternoon or evening outdoor?
Morning is the best time of the day. It has something to do with the air, the ions. I guess after the night.
Morning air is cleaner than afternoon.
Yes, morning air is cleaner. Stuff has settled. Cars are parked, you know. So stuff has settled. The moon has come out. You know, the moon does a lot too for the air as well at night. So morning air is the best. Alrighty, so exercise, walking. Now, medical science has shown that a person who's diabetic, they'll get them to walk 30 minutes. It's good, 30 minutes is good, but they say that they have seen the best results. This is for high cholesterol, this is for heart disease, this is for any sickness, 1 hour. 1 hour. Now, what if a person hasn't walked in years?
Brisk walking.
Like, yes, brisk. Very good, thank you, Sister Becky. Brisk walk. Do we want to walk like this? Or do we want to walk like
Like
this?
that. Swing your arms.
We want to walk like this. We want to have full active,
Swing
we
your
want it
arms.
all, that's right, swing your arms. And, but for a person who hasn't walked in a long time, or they use a crutch or a walker, or they can walk, but they really don't do it, 1 minute to start is fine. And then increase it to 2 minutes. And increase it. I was dealing with a guy who was 450 pounds. He said he never walked more than a minute or two. He just couldn't do it. I said, you couldn't do it because you didn't exert yourself. You guys need to come inside and sit down, please. Where's your brother? Go get him, please. He couldn't, he said he never walked more than a minute. So I told him, walk 1 minute tomorrow. Then the next day, increase it to 2 minutes. The next day, increase it to 3 minutes. By the third week I was talking to him, he was walking 30 minutes. And then there is a recipe, a formula, remedy. I'll give that to you guys. Remind me and I'll bring it next week. Where if a person has emphysema, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, emphysema is like little holes leaked in the lungs and the air leaks out and they can't breathe very well. There's a remedy that will patch those holes for a couple hours to allow them to walk that hour that's necessary. Yes?
Now, would dividing that hour, like say in half, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, be okay?
Okay, the best, good question. The most recommended is to do it all at one time. But we understand many people work. They get up early, it's still dark outside, they don't walk because it's dark and they have to do their Bible study and eat their breakfast and go to work. If you have to split it up, they really recommend 30 and 30. They said 10-minute intervals. It's exercise, but you don't see the benefits like you do, especially if you do this at one time. But if they said you have to break it up, 30 and 30, you guys get it? Okay.
One question. You keep saying day. What's the day that you...
Medical science.
Oh, that's the problem.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that later. Yes, and this is scientific information, tons of it, that has proven. And let me give you also, let me tell you what else. The person I'm training under, he works with tons of people.